Most people think that grocery shopping in France means buying everything from beautiful local markets, but that's not what most families do. And after almost 2 years living here, I learned that the secret to saving money on food here in France is not just about which shop you choose. The biggest thing we learn is this: France does not make food cheaper, but France rewards people who buy seasonally. And some of the most delicious and cheapest produce come from places most visitors don't even notice and just drive straight past it. So today I want to show you the different places you can buy food from, what surprised us the most, and how we balance quality, budget and convenience as a family living in the south of France. Bonjour, I'm Gabi and this is Simple Life in the south of France. So if you are planning to move to France and you only remember one thing from this video, make it this: buying seasonally matters more than choosing the perfect shop. Right now, in early summer, we are seeing cherries, peaches, apricots, nectarines, strawberries, cucumbers and tomatoes everywhere. Not only do they taste incredible, but they are at their cheapest. You see families buying trays of fruit rather than just a handful because the prices suddenly become much more reasonable. But 6 months from now, those same produce will cost significantly more, and the quality won't be nearly as good. Also, that same seasonal fruit in a market or supermarket could still cost way more than in a place that most people miss. So let's talk about the different places you can shop, including the one you definitely should not overlook. One thing I didn't fully appreciate before moving here is how many different options you have when it comes to grocery shopping. And depending on where you shop, prices can vary quite a lot. Let's start with the budget-friendly options like Aldi, Lidl, Leclerc or Hyper-U. They are more or less in a similar kind of price range. Aldi is the closest to us, so that's where we buy most of our everyday basics like milk, yogurt, pasta, rice, snacks, cleaning products, and to be fair, quite a bit of our meat as well. Yes, I know, the quality of the meat from Aldi is not the same what we get from our local butcher, but simply we can't afford to buy all our meat from the butcher because the prices sometimes can almost double. Now, disclaimer, my husband is 6'4" and he eats a rather large amount of food, easily enough for 2 people, if not more. We also tend to eat meat or fish for both lunch and dinner, so if we were to buy all our food from the butcher, I think we would need to declare bankruptcy very soon. So, as a result, we tend to buy meat from the butcher when we are having a barbecue or for a special occasion. But for our everyday meals, it just doesn't make sense for our budget, even though the quality is amazing. Anyway, back to the budget-friendly shops. The prices are usually quite competitive and honestly the quality is okay. And if you are trying to keep your grocery bill under control, these are probably the places I would recommend looking. The one thing I would note though, that the variety of vegetables doesn't seem to change much in Aldi, or at least not in the local Aldi shop where we do our weekly shoppings. So if you want a good variety of fruit and vegetables on your plate, then driving to different places when you're doing your weekly grocery shopping is the way to go. Then you have the more upmarket supermarkets like Intermarché or Carrefour. These shops have a much larger selection and more specialty products, but you will pay more for that convenience. They often have local fruit and vegetables in their produce section, which is great, but the prices are often higher than at markets and considerably more expensive than in budget-friendly supermarkets. We still shop there sometimes, especially when we are looking for something specific, but it's definitely not where we do our weekly grocery shopping. One of the other things that really surprised me after moving here is that most of the time the imported products, like the imported fruit and vegetables, are cheaper than the French product, and I find this a little sad. I understand that France is not a cheap country to operate in, and farmers have significant costs, so their prices need to make sense for them. But as a consumer, it is a little disappointing that buying local isn't always the most affordable option. Then there are the local markets. Now, this was another surprise for me. Before moving here, I assumed markets would automatically be cheaper because you are buying directly from local producers. But as I mentioned earlier, that is often not true. Markets can be expensive, very expensive. Yes, the products are fantastic, but the prices reflect that. We still go to markets regularly because firstly, we love trying different products, and secondly, we love the atmosphere. But we don't buy majority of our food there. Again, it's just not practical for our budget. You can also buy meat at the market, but the prices are often very similar to those at your local butcher. And finally, my favorite category, something that many people miss, but you definitely shouldn't: the little roadside producer stands. These are the places many visitors don't even notice. When driving around France, you will often see small roadside stores along the road. Sometimes they are tiny and only sell one or two things. Sometimes they are a little bigger, but they're never huge. And from our experience, these can be some of the best value places to buy your seasonal fruit and vegetables. The produce we bought from these places has often been the cheapest and at the same time some of the most delicious. Sweet, juicy, delightful produce. Right now they are full of cherries, peaches, apricots and tomatoes. Sometimes you do need to choose carefully though, because some of the fruit can be very ripe. But honestly, that's a very little effort for delicious, healthy and sweet fruit at the end. So don't miss these stands when you're visiting France. You won't regret stopping. If I had to simplify grocery shopping in France, I would think of it like this: Aldi, Lidl, Leclerc or Hyper U for value, Intermarché or Carrefour for convenience and selection, markets for atmosphere and high quality local produce, butchers for premium meat, and roadside stands for some of the best seasonal bargains you can find. I do need to say though that those roadside stands are much less common and much less exciting during winter than in summer, so take advantage of them during spring and summer when they are full of beautiful produce. When we speak with friends and family in different countries, they often surprised that we don't buy everything from local producers, and honestly, that would be the dream. Our family really enjoys healthy eating and cooking, so being able to support local businesses and eat local produce all the time would be amazing. But the reality is that it's not possible for us, and it's probably not possible for many families here either. In fact, I don't think many families buy all their food from markets. I think many families are like us. They try to buy local when it makes sense. They buy seasonal produce whenever possible, but they are also feeding a family and working within a budget. Maybe things would be different if I have a husband who eats for one, but that's not the case, so we mix and match. A typical week for us might look something like this. First, we stop at the roadside stand to see what they've got, and then we go to Aldi or Lidl to get the basics. If we need anything specific, we stop at a higher-end shop, and we go to the market to see if they have anything that particularly looks good, or they have a new cheese or something delicious we want to try. So it might not be the picture-perfect version of French life people imagine, but I have to say the quality of food here is still fantastic and life here is still pretty good. If you are thinking about moving to France, here is the biggest takeaway. Don't get too focused on finding the perfect shop, but pay attention to what's in season. compare the prices, and find those roadside stands close to you. And remember that most families here aren't buying everything from beautiful village markets every week. They are doing exactly what other families do. They're trying to eat healthy, they're trying to stay within budget, and trying to make smart choices. Where do you buy your groceries every week? Let me know in the comments. But for now, thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one. A bientôt!